Welcome to the Contrarians, where we are right and you are wrong. I'm Julio.
And I'm Alex. Here on the show, we rage against the Rotten Tomatoes machine. For the first half of each episode, Contrarians Corner, we trash the fresh red tomatoes and praise the rotten green splotches, making our case any way we can.
The aptly titled Real Talk serves as the second half of each episode. This is where we discuss our true feelings on the movie we're covering. For more information on our podcast and to browse past episodes, you can head over to our website, wearethecontrarians.com.
From there, you can also access our Patreon and merchandise, because capitalism.
If you enjoy our attempts at comedic film discussions, we encourage you to subscribe and leave us a review on whatever podcatcher you use.
If you'd like to reach out to us directly, that's what social media is for. You can find us on most platforms as @ContrarianPrime.
You can also see what we look like if you go to youtube.com/@ContrarianPrime, and you can contact us by email at wearethecontrarians@gmail.com.
I think that covers it.
Then it's time for the podcast. And we are recording for Contrarians Corner for Marathon Man.
Hello and welcome to the Contrarians, where we're right and you're wrong. My name is Alex, joined as always by my co-host and cohort, the never-ending battle of the contrary, Julio Oliveira. Julio, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. It is February 10th as we record this. So that means that we're only 4 days away from Valentine's Day. I figured this movie sets the mood. An epic love story between Dustin Hoffman and a woman who may or may not be truthful about her feelings towards him. The real marathon was the race to win her heart.
That's right. That's right. What a hell of a Valentine's Day movie this would be to watch with your significant other. But we're here today to discuss Marathon Man, the John Schlesinger 1976 film starring Dustin Hoffman, Lawrence Olivier, and Roy Scheider. We'll get to why we're covering it in just a moment. But Julio, did you have any prior knowledge of this movie?
Not at all. I didn't even know it existed. Like when I got the title Marathon Man, I was like, wait, what is this? I think I might have even made the joke talking about it in the previous episode that I was hoping. Oh no, I made it on the newsletter. Never mind. Before knowing anything, I was just assuming that maybe it was an adaptation of The Running Man.
Oh yes, that's right. We've done Demolition Man, and we will do The Running Man in our summer journey. So it's appropriate, somewhere in between the two of them, we have Marathon Man.
The Marathon Man? Did they drop the duh?
Much cleaner, much cleaner. This, of course, based on a William Goldman novel of the same name. You a big fan of William Goldman's adaptations, Julio?
Well, if you had told me that this was from the man that gave us The Princess Bride, I would have thought you were kidding. Mm-hmm. But apparently it is. So I feel like I don't know him at all. There's no whimsy in this movie.
Oh, I never put the two and two together. This was the same year as All the President's Men. So the Dustin Hoffman connection, not too far off. And recently, was that last year during my horror movie month of October, I watched Magic, that movie with Anthony Hopkins and Anne Margaret. That was also based on a William Goldman novel. So he's been popping up recently in my viewing. But still, I had no prior knowledge of this film either and was pretty surprised with what we got.
Would you say he just can't settle on a genre?
I mean, it would seem that way.
Right? Is Magic a horror movie?
Yes. It's about like a possessed ventriloquist doll. Dummy, excuse me.
Okay. And then All the President's Men is like a political thriller. Not even a thriller. It's like a political investigation. Mm-hmm. This is more of a thriller. And then, of course, a fantasy comedy with The Princess Bride. I don't trust somebody who doesn't settle on a lane as a storyteller. I was like, come on. How long was he around? Didn't he have time to find himself and just figure it out? But I don't know, man. This is no Princess Bride. Definitely no All the President's Men. Is it just that Goldman's screenplays are at the mercy of its directors?
Seems that way. As, this is certainly not in the same universe of Princess Bride. This isn't a movie you could sit down and show your family, on a Friday night. I guess you could, but might result in some nightmares and a lot of questions.
They're big fans of Dustin Hoffman. If they're big fans of Jaws.
That's a possibility. Roy Scheider, they always say he was a real heartthrob back in his day on the cover of Tiger Beat and all that shit. So.
I think this movie proves it.
Man, he is flossy as hell in this movie in his fucking fitted suits. But anyway, we'll get to Marathon Man momentarily. Julio, why are we discussing this movie today?
This movie comes to us courtesy of patron John Amenta, who demanded Marathon Man. Actually, it was more like, how about Marathon Man? It was not a demand. It was like a low-key question. But he knew the answer because, patron. So, yeah, of course we were going to say yes. I looked up on Letterboxd. It doesn't look like John has logged it. But knowing John, I think he's sending us a movie that he has opinions about, right? Like he hadn't logged Conan either, and that was the last movie of his that we did. And yeah, afterwards he reached out and he said, "Hey, regardless of what you guys said on the episode, I can assure you that Conan the Destroyer is not as good as Conan the Barbarian." And in fact, I have booked a slot on The Pint to talk about Conan the Destroyer in the near future. Yeah. So I will update you. There's no sequel to Marathon Man that I know of. So whatever we say about Marathon Man, this is where the story ends. How about you, Alex? Did you know anything about Marathon Man? I forgot to ask you.
No, yeah, I had no prior knowledge of this, but I was obviously very intrigued as soon as I just Googled it. Dustin Hoffman, Lawrence Olivier, thriller, kind of a political thriller in some aspects. Yeah, I was definitely intrigued.
Is this a Dustin Hoffman debut on the Contrarians?
I'm sure we'll figure it out between now and the time this is posted, but I'm blanking on the other ones immediately coming to mind. The connection is there, obviously, with William Goldman, but also John Schlesinger directed Midnight Cowboy, which is fantastic and launched the careers of both Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman. You ever seen that movie?
No. Is that the one where he goes, "I'm walking here"?
Yeah, I'm walking it. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a scene early on in this movie where I thought that was going to happen. I was like, oh, is this a movie? But I guess he was just referencing his previous movie with Dustin Hoffman. You know what I'm talking about? When there's like there's like a traffic jam and the taxis are like bumper to bumper, and then like a bunch of youths like cross the street and start like hitting the hoods.
Oh yeah, at the very beginning. Yeah. That kind of sets up what's going on. I guess I didn't really make the connection. But yes, you should watch Midnight Cowboy. Great movie.
Is there an evil dentist in that movie?
There is not, but the evil dentist in this, I think, was enough to last a lifetime. 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, Julio. Did I see that correctly?
That is correct. It is fresh, not with a gazillion reviews like some of the other picks that we've done on this show, but still a respectable 50 reviews. And yet, certified fresh, Alex. So, once again, Rotten Tomatoes manages to flummox us when we try to figure out who gets that stamp and who doesn't. At this point, I'm pretty sure that the Millennia documentary is going to get a certified fresh popcorn on the popcorn meter. What a time to be alive.
Well, which quotes did you pull for us?
Long summer. Don't you tell me long summer, you crowd meathead. Long summer, long.
All right, fresh quotes from Rotten Tomatoes website. I'm going to start with Michael Mascioli from Philadelphia Gay News, who says, Marathon Man is an astounding top-notch thriller that stands out as one of the year's 10 best. Everybody's always talking about how the 70s was the last great decade in cinema. And if this was on the top 10 of 76, I think that 76 was kind of a weak year. What do you think, Alex? Doesn't this feel like this would be like mid-tier in the scope of 76?
As far as things I can think of off the top of my head, yeah. I mean, we talked about Rocky previously, and I believe Taxi Driver was 76 as well. Network. Like I said, All the President's Men. This ain't no All the President's Men. Carrie came out in 76 too, so just what I've been naming so far is not making the case.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Those are really, really good, iconic movies that people who haven't seen them still probably know about them because of their impact on pop culture. I don't think that's the case with Marathon Man, so Michael Mascioli might be overselling it here a little bit. Next, Ruth Batchelor from Los Angeles Free Press says, John Schlesinger, who brought us Darling, Midnight Cowboy, Sunday Bloody Sunday, and alas, The Day of the Locust, is by far one of the best film directors in the industry. And speaking of overselling,
he's definitely riding off a lot of critical highs.
I guess. I mean, you just said The Midnight Cowboy is worth watching, but Would you say he's one of the best film directors in the industry?
I don't know. What he had coming into this was the Midnight Cowboy, Sunday Bloody Sunday, and The Day of the Locusts. Yeah, I don't know. 70s, that's a loaded plate there, so it's a bold claim.
But you have your Coppolas, your Lucases, your Scorseses.
Scorsese was just in the process of breaking through, so Spielberg, I think, would be one that you could attribute.
Your Spielbergs, yeah. How dare this Ruth Batchelor put Schlesinger in this? Like, he might have been an older filmmaker, but come on.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Scott Weinberg from DVD Clinic says, although best known for its infamous Is It Safe sequence, Marathon Man is a whole lot better than just one horrific scene. I know you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, Alex. Neither am I, to be fair, but I feel like out of the two of us, I am the only one who, when they kept saying, is it safe in that scene, kept thinking of Ian McKellen as Gandalf, asking Frodo, is it secret? Is it safe? You didn't, I guess.
No, that sequence is so
what a shame.
Intense. Yes, I know. I need to.
The laughs we could have had, Alex.
I've lost some of my nerd cred on that one.
I mean, I don't know. Is it safe? Is that the high point of the movie?
I mean, that sequence is the most memorable, I'd say.
And it happens maybe halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, it's just like a steady decline until you get to the end. We're going to close, as we have to, with Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times, who says, if holds and plots bother you, Marathon Man will be maddening. But as well-crafted escapist entertainment as a diabolical thriller, the movie works with relentless skill. Of course, plot holes bother me, Roger. Who is not bothered by plot holes?
Are there glaring ones in this? I guess I was just my brain was fried by the glacial pacing of it to really take note.
Listen, you were too sleepy to notice that things didn't make sense. As we go through the plot, I think we can call them out. But I think this is one of those movies where a lot of things that happen because there's like very, very specific set of circumstances that take place that maybe... like there's a lot of things that require orchestrating in this movie, and I think that maybe that's what feels a little hard to believe. But I don't know, that's like my memory from having watched it 2 hours ago. We'll see as we go through it. But those are the quotes. Alex, let's put on our running shoes. Let's go to Contrarians Corner.
Yo, Melendez, here comes the creep.
¡Hey, Tweepy! ¡Hey, Tweekuto! ¡Ahí viene de nuevo! ¡Oye, miren, nene está cogiendo!
Thomas Babington Levy, Babe, this is Dustin Hoffman, is a history student and a long-distance runner at Columbia University in New York City who seeks to rehabilitate the memory of his father, who took his own life during McCarthyism. A fiery car accident kills Klaus Zell, the brother of Nazi war criminal Christian Zell, who worked as a dentist at a concentration camp. Babe's brother Henry, Doc, this is Roy Scheider, whom Babe believes is an oil company executive, is actually an agent for a secret government agency that handles jobs too extreme for either the FBI or CIA. Doc is a courier for the transport of diamonds owned by Zell and kept in a safety deposit box in New York City. When Doc takes Babe and his Swiss girlfriend Elsa Opel to lunch, he tricks Elsa into revealing she is actually German and has been lying about her background. So, Dustin Hoffman, Roy Scheider, Christian Zell is definitely making his Contrarians debut, Lawrence Olivier. And it's one of these movies that is so clearly dated with the idea that there's these divisions of the government, these dudes who wear suits that, can just kill someone randomly off the street, make them disappear immediately and handle these jobs that are too extreme. But when the movie started with someone pulling out, was it like a Band-Aids tin from a safety deposit box? And he looked at it like he was seeing, it's the briefcase from Pulp Fiction or something, which that shot literally happens later in the movie. But this car accident he dies in is like the first thing that happens in the movie. And it's just the result of, it sounds like a bit of nationalist driven road rage.
That's how you knew you were in New York right away. Is that
hey.
Yeah.
I can't even quote the lines because they're very offensive, but Yeah, he just pulls up. This guy's car's broken down. And he just starts yelling at him. So he starts ramming the back of his car. And then they just, the end of Grease style, are just gunning it parallel. And they run into, it's a fuel truck, right?
Yeah. It's and then the explosions happen, but it's not like a cool explosion, like a Michael Bay explosion. It's kind of a, I guess, mature, sober explosion. I was a little underwhelmed. I was bracing myself because I was like, obviously there's going to be, you don't put an oil truck in the middle of the street without expecting it to really blow, make a big deal out of it. And instead it was kind of like, poof. That was it. It still kills them. But I guess, the Schlesinger was working with a budget. He couldn't really.
It was not a Nolan special effect. I'll say that.
No, they did not shoot this scene in IMAX. This was just
definitely not
from far away. As you go through the plot, there are two parallel plot lines going through the first third of the movie, the first 30 minutes. And one of them has to do with, I guess, the title of the movie. And even then, it's kind of tangential. When you say that there's like the Dustin Hoffman story and then the Roy Scheider story, and one of them is infinitely more interesting than the other.
I would agree. Roy Scheider is this guy who works for a secret division of the government globally and handles problems. God knows how many people he's killed. And then Dustin Hoffman goes for runs every day and he's working on his thesis at school.
He is the marathon man, right? I did not miss a symbolism or some sort of overarching theme that had to do with marathon activities.
Yeah, if you missed it, I did too, because I was just like, oh yeah, he runs marathons.
Is he running from his past, Alex? Is that what's happening?
Well, what happened there? What happened with his dad? Obviously the McCarthyism thing, but like, if you're not from this time period and familiar with like what was going on, the previous few decades, like if you just try to show a Gen Z kid this, what are they going to deduce happened with the dad?
Like, what happened in that house? What's so scary about that house in the countryside? Dude, I am not a Gen Zer, and I was kind of confused because when I think McCarthy, I don't think Nazis. The whole thing about McCarthy was communism, right? But the big reveal towards the end of the movie, jumping to the end, is that his dad was in bed with the Nazis. So is this like alternate history? Is this an America where McCarthy went against the Nazis instead of the communists?
I don't know. We need a history major on this call.
Man, I don't know that I want to, because this movie makes the point pretty early and even has a character verbalize it, saying that the world doesn't need any more historians, and kind of spends a solid 5 minutes tearing them down. Anybody that wants to be a historian is like, nope, go to the back of the line, do something better with your life. That teacher that dresses them down, like Dustin Hoffman and his other four classmates, like, he's great. I was like, I wish he had stuck around because he was awesome. Almost as awesome as Roy Scheider.
Oh yeah, he fucking rocks in this movie, but unfortunately he only makes it to about the halfway point, and then the film breaks, and then once they fix it, it's just Dustin Hoffman running for another hour. Our flame, our muse in this, Marta Keller. Familiar with her from anything else, Julio?
No. Now I know that she is the shifty lady from Marathon Man. Did you buy her as
French?
This movie? Well, no. But okay, so that's something else that threw me off, and that was, I guess maybe I'm used to movies being a little more explicit today, but like, she speaks French to Dustin Hoffman when they first meet, but they're in New York. Yeah. Unfortunately, Roy Scheider is in Paris, in his side of the story. So it made me second guess. I was like, wait, is Dustin Hoffman in Paris and that's why he's hitting on a woman that speaks French? But then I was like, wait, or maybe Roy Scheider is in New York because at some point, like, he's meeting with people that speak English, right? But then there was, at some point, there's a shot, because they had to put one there, where Roy Scheider looks out the window and there's the Eiffel Tower in the background. I was like, okay.
Well, this is right after he does some very impressive push-ups in his underwear.
Yes. Yeah. It was like, I know I looked a little schlubby in Jaws, but this is the real me. And then Dustin Hoffman gets mugged, and I'm like, oh no, he is in New York. So it was clearly,
welcome back, baby.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this woman, she speaks French. Well, I was gonna ask you if you bought her as a character that was just innocent, like somebody that was innocent, because this movie has a lot of reveals and some of them are pretty convoluted.
I did it first, and then when it's revealed she's been lying, and Doc Roy Scheider really plays her like a fiddle to reveal that she's been lying the whole time. Then I just didn't trust anything that happened the rest of the movie.
Like, that's it. You lost me, Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Fool me once. But then, okay, so when they get mugged and this lady, she takes a punch to the face.
Now that's New York.
that's just New York. I mean, now we know, with the benefit of having watched the entire movie, we know that that was part of the plan, that she was just kind of playing the victim to get closer to Dustin Hoffman. But it feels like there would have been easier ways of doing that without getting mugged. Because she is part of everything, right? Like the people that were mugging him, they were mugging him to send a message to Roy Scheider. And I feel like they could have sent that message without punching their own undercover agent in the process.
I mean, sometimes you got to make it look real. That's pro wrestling 101. If you're in cahoots the whole time, sometimes someone has to take a chair shot to the back or some shit,
To really sell it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That all checked out for me.
Oh, I was like, but they punched her. Okay, well, did it throw you off that she would go for him, though? Because Dustin Hoffman is no Roy Scheider in this movie. He's kind of...
He's pretty charming, though. Like, it's not revealed that he has any charm until we see him, like, on a date with her. But, yeah, he's kind of cute. And, he's got the messy hair, and it was the late 70s. They were giving anybody a chance at that point in time, You
didn't think it was creepy when he just stole her book so he would have an excuse to go up to her house?
I'm sorry I stole your book.
What?
I took your book and put it underneath mine. I didn't know how to talk to you. I was embarrassed, so I took your book.
Aren't you embarrassed now?
Yeah, I'm humiliated.
Well, yes, I intentionally breezed past that because if we're going to talk about the problematic ways men courted women in the 70s, we'll be here all night.
But they knew Alex because his Hispanic neighbors, they call him creepy.
That's true. That comes back in. Hilariously, the way it's paid off is we learn they don't even know what his real name is. And he has to just be like, it's creepy, man. It's creepy.
How much running do you do, Alex, on a regular basis?
Oh, come on. I try to walk as much as possible. I go for a walk probably 4 times a week. A decent walk. But I cannot remember the last time I ran to anything. But
you don't time yourself like Creepy does here?
No. I would literally die if I did the shit he does in this movie. Like if I tried to push myself that hard. Do you have a best running time?
Oh, no. I have a best, my phone, my watch, actually, my Apple Watch keeps track of like the most calories I've ever burned in a day. And I would keep that number to myself because I'm pretty sure it's for people that actually exercise, it means nothing. But I like that the watch keeps me accountable. It's a lot easier than what Dustin Hoffman does here, which is like have his girlfriend keep time and write it on a piece of paper or something.
And she's just there having like a charcuterie board watching him.
Yeah. Okay. But it pays off, I guess, because the implication based on the one scene that they have where we see some intimacy is that Hoffman is insatiable.
Oh, yeah. Just a sexual deviant, a sexual tyrannosaur even.
She has to ask for a break. He said, please no more.
But then he acquiesces. He's like, I couldn't go anymore either. So there you go.
I think he was being modest. I think that he had built up his endurance.
An act of hubris.
Yeah. What was he coming out of for this one? Because I know Scheider was coming out of Jaws. So this was his follow-up to probably the most iconic role of his career. But was Hoffman this postgraduate, right?
Yeah, this is almost 10 years removed. The Graduate was 1967.
Okay, I thought he looked much younger in The Graduate.
He most certainly did.
He's still in school, though, in this one. So can't blame me. Eternally pursuing a new degree, Dustin Hoffman. Do you know, because by now he's shown up in the movie, do you know William Devane from anything?
Dude, I could have sworn I did just because his face seems so memorable. But going through his filmography, I can't swear that I had seen anything that like triggered a memory or some shit like that. I will say, though, that we mentioned Christopher Nolan earlier, and he has a role in The Dark Knight Rises and in Interstellar. So Nolan gets it.
Man, I don't remember him in Interstellar, and I've seen that movie fairly recently. Maybe he does the voice of the robot or something.
He plays a character named Williams, and in The Dark Knight Rises, he plays the president, which I'm pretty sure the only scene the president has in that is he's speaking on TV, and fucking Christian Bale sees it from the underground hut where Bane came from. But anyway, no. Do you know him from anything? I did see he was from 24, so do you know him from that?
I know him from 24. He is in the 5th season, I would say. He's the father of Kiefer Sutherland's love interest in that season, and then he comes back in the series. I think at some point he becomes president, but the memorable one is the 5th one. I think that the reason that you feel like you know him is because if you ask me, William Devane is the poor man's Ian Holm. You know Ian Holm from Alien, like the android from Alien?
Okay.
So in my mind, even though I know they're two separate people, when I think of Ash in Alien, I think it's William Devane playing him. And then you go to IMDb and it's like, no, it's the British guy. It's Ian Holm.
This is your Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott?
Yeah, they were the Mulroney and Dermot of the 70s.
That's what everyone says.
It's just that Devane and Holm doesn't flow as easily, as smoothly as McDermott and Mulroney. But what do you think of this guy now? Because, okay, no matter whether you knew him or not from 24 or whatever, you probably, like me, always think of him as an old guy. And here, this is the youngest I've ever seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Black hair, gets in a couple action scenes. What do you think? Did he make an impression? Did you instantly distrust him?
Well, he works for the government, so yes. But
yeah, but this was the 70s, Alex. Back then, you could trust the government.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The decade that followed Vietnam? Okay.
They learned.
He was very laconic and, very monotone when he's first introduced into this. And then, of course, it's revealed that he might not be on the up and up. He might not be on the right side of things. But at first, like him, and he reminded me of one of the people that works for Cochran in Season of the Witch, Halloween 3. That turns out they're a robot.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he acts when he's first introduced in this. I mean, we'll just get to it here. Although Doc suspects she may be connected with Zell, this is Elsa, he tells Babe that she is seeking an American husband to gain U.S. citizenship. Zell, having learned of his brother's death, secretly arrives in New York from Uruguay to collect and sell the diamonds, and the couriers are mysteriously killed. Doc escapes several attacks, but when he and Zell ultimately meet, he is stabbed by Zell. Mortally wounded, he reaches Babe's apartment and dies before he's able to confide anything about what happened and why. Yeah, we get Roy Scheider. They send a hitman to his hotel in Paris, and he attempts to garrote him with a fucking wire. And Scheider fights him off and breaks his back to kill him. But there's a part where it shows across the way at another hotel or like apartment complex, this old man in a wheelchair is seeing what's happening and trying to tell his caretaker. So I thought that was going to come back into play at some point. But fortunately, Roy Scheider's able to fight him off and live to tell his own tale.
There are a lot of things that don't come back into play, Alex. Earlier in the movie, when the first time that I think he gets paranoid, he's meeting somebody at the opera. And then the guy that he's meeting
dude's
has
throat slit.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's so obvious that the guy's dead, and Roy Scheider still has to play it like, "Hey, what's up?" before the guy like slumps over. But then he goes to the garage, and there's his girlfriend that was supposed to meet him there, and he's like, keep walking because this is not safe. And then his girlfriend disappears, and first of all, we never see her again. We don't know what happened. So I guess she died, right? I mean,
she turns into a soccer ball.
Yeah. Okay. I kept waiting for the meaning of the soccer ball to be revealed, because it just, she disappears and then a soccer ball comes rolling, and Scheider looks at it like it means something. And I just assumed, well, this movie keeps doing the thing where it just throws something up there and seems to promise that there's going to be an explanation later. So I just filed the soccer ball over there in that same area, but it never comes back up. It's never explained. I mean, he's in France. Is there a special significance to soccer balls in France?
Couldn't tell you.
Maybe the World Cup was in the 76. Paris 76.
Is it safe?
Tell me what the it refers to.
Zell, concerned over what Doc may have confided in Babe, has him kidnapped by 2 accomplices. Zell tortures Babe using his dental skills. Babe is rescued by Peter Janeway. This is the aforementioned William. Is it Devane or Devaney?
I've always read it as Devane, but
Devane. Works for me. Who claims he was a colleague of Doc. He explains that Zell got rich by converting gold fillings he pulled from the teeth of Jews killed at Auschwitz, then converted that wealth into even more concentrated forms of diamonds. Janeway presses Babe about Doc's dying words, but Babe still insists he knows nothing. Frustrating, Janeway reveals himself to be a double agent and returns Babe to Zell. Even under further torture, Babe is unable to divulge anything of value. He escapes before he can be killed and is aided by his prowess as a marathon runner. So the scene where, so he gets captured, tortured, locked in a holding cell. Janeway comes in and kills the guard. So again, just to sell the hustle, to sell the angle, as it were, a guy's killed. Just
2 guys.
Sorry. And then he's in the car, and it's like it's like a bit from South Park or something. Like it's something that would be parodied now because he helps him escape, and then he basically just drives around the block. Like he does a big circle, and then just comes back to the place, and he's like, "Fuck it," he doesn't know anything, and so they just take him and throw him back in, and he like figures it out. It's like, "You sold him out. You had him killed." Now we're having fun with this, but brother, there's nothing that makes me like grip my knees and my legs harder watching a movie, or like that I have to like turn away, than any sort of dental torture. And here, he's got the cleaning hook that you're familiar with if you've had your teeth cleaned. He's looking at his teeth. He goes, "Oh, you got a good cavity back there." And then he just digs the hook into it, and Dustin Hoffman sells it so good. But then since that doesn't work, he's like, well, that nerve was dying anyway. Drilling into a healthy tooth into and he uses the phrase, "until I reach the pulp and hit a fresh nerve." It's just like, oh God. And then so he does, and you hear it, and then you of course hear Dustin Hoffman scream, and dude, it's like blood curdling. But then he has like a bum tooth the rest of the movie, and it's one of his front 2 teeth, so it's impossible to take him seriously because he looks like a fucking hillbilly.
Okay, first of all, I guess this movie plays a little more strongly with you because I mean, it's not like I like having dental work done. I'm not like Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors, but I don't have like
sick reference.
I don't have the fear, the phobia to it. So instead, when I see that he's been captured, he's tied to a chair, and they start, the guy starts showcasing his tools. I'm like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. I've seen so many torture scenes in movies already. Like on the show alone, we did Pan's Labyrinth. When the guy's like, "I'm gonna ask you questions," and blah blah. He's like showing his tools off. Even more recently, if we jump on the Furf lane, we did 1984, which spends like a solid 20 minutes at least putting poor John Hurt through hell. So I'm like, I don't know, Schlesinger, you're gonna have to do a lot to impress me with whatever you're gonna do to Dustin Hoffman. And man, dental work, I mean, especially when you consider this was done, 50 years ago. So the things that really freak people out are feel a little tame. Like 20, not even 20 years later, Tarantino was gonna like cut somebody's ear off in a torture scene that's much more effective. So this was like, I got what they were going for, but I feel like it would be scary in real life than in a movie. In a movie, I'm like, oh, this is just, it's nothing compared to things that we've seen before. But of course, like I said, I'm not coming at it from a place where it makes me uncomfortable to begin with. Now, since it made you uncomfortable, Alex, what is worse? The sound of him getting dental work done, or the sound when Roy Scheider snaps that guy's neck in the hotel?
I mean, that's pretty bad, but I've watched way too many movies that feature neck snaps, and it's...
See, that made me gag. I was like, oh.
See, I've never been killed by having my neck snapped, but I have like banged my tooth or had tooth pain, so I know what that's, and I can envision what getting my tooth drilled into would feel like, and I don't want it.
You can feel the pulp getting touched getting
Oh,
getting contact.
horrific verbiage, man.
I was so glad that they revealed that the entire rescue from William Devane was staged, because it looked so fake.
Yes. That's what I mean. It was like just comedic in that it was, God, what is something like that's something that you would see on like a comedy show, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something, where they stage a fake rescue or some shit. And people are just like, what is going on? It probably was like a, mind blowing at the time. But again, it's been 50 years and this is something that would be parodied. And we've seen similar things to it, make fun of the idea of it and make it funny. So it was hard not to laugh at this.
Yeah, he shoots somebody on their way out and the guy just kind of falls like in a straight line, no blood or anything. So then later when he's explaining to Dustin Hoffman how they accomplished this, he goes, the gun had blanks. And I was like, no shit. That was pretty obvious. The bum tooth didn't bother me as much as the fact that his mouth was not swollen for the rest of the movie. That bothered me. Like when I go to the dentist, even if it's just like a tiny procedure, like my mouth is fucked up for the rest of the day. And here I know that there was no anesthesia involved, so it's not like the numbing part was not something he had to deal with, but he had some real damage done there. So how is it that he looks just like regular Dustin Hoffman on the outside, while his mouth is closed? Once he opens it, you can see the damaged tooth. But didn't that bother you that he looked like a guy that hadn't been tortured in the mouth?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. He looked like hell. When he was running away, he was bleeding from the mouth. And then, I mean, they kind of circumvent that
swollen.
But he steals the antiseptic or whatever.
Oh, the magic oil?
Yeah. Which, again, they literally, Julio jokes, but that's basically the way they describe it. It's magic.
Well, I mean, by now we're being introduced to Sir Lawrence Olivier, a legend of acting, mysteriously getting like third billing in this movie. I think Scheider and Hoffman are above him, right?
Well, on this it has. I'm looking at the poster, and Dustin Hoffman has top, and then Laurence Olivier gets second.
But still, if you're Laurence Olivier,
yeah. Oh, exactly, yeah. Who the fuck is Dustin Hoffman? Is what he's thinking.
The kid from The Graduate.
Who the fuck is Dustin Hoffman? Who is this? Yeah.
Well, so he shows up, and the way of his legend, his reputation, I think worked against him for me, a modern viewer in the year 2025. It was like, oh, Laurence Olivier is in the house. Okay, show me what you got. And it was just kind of I'm not going to say he's an unimpressive bad guy, because obviously his dental work, his dental proficiency makes an impression. But I think maybe it's the fact that he kind of looks like Dick Cheney.
That nerve's already dying. A live, freshly cut nerve is infinitely more sensitive.
Dick Cheney wishes, dude. He was never that skinny.
Those are kind of,
Also, just to put this out here, Laurence Olivier did not kill 1 million people. So that's an important distinguishing point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Cheney is scarier than
most humans that have ever lived. Yes.
Yeah, but this in particular, this Nazi in particular. What do you call him? The White Knight? The White Stallion?
Who played it? Was it Richard Dreyfuss that played him in W?
Yes, Dreyfuss in W, Bale in Vice.
I've never seen Vice. If I remember correctly, you said don't.
Avoid. Yeah, no. Nobody should ever watch Vice. Well, I don't know. What do you think of this bad guy? Were you kind of like, Nazis again? Come on. Can we move on? Can we do something that's not our current problem in real life?
I mean, to be honest, and this isn't saying like the atrocities and the horror that like his legend contained, he just did like 2 things to Dustin Hoffman, and that was it. And then like, yeah, he had the fucking retractable knife. Like, shit, who is that has the blade in their sleeve that they keep? I'm trying to think.
I mean, I'm lazy, so I just wrote Wolverine, and I know it's not Wolverine.
Well, the easy comparison in 76 is De Niro, how he puts the gun on a track to fly out of his sleeve like that.
Okay, yeah.
There's someone specifically I'm thinking of. Oh, it's the dude who kills Matthew Fox in Smoking Aces that I'm thinking of, that he keeps the blades in his sleeves just like that.
A much better movie.
Oh, brother. Of course, Smoking Aces would come up here. But yeah, at no point are you questioning if he's the bad guy or not. But by the end of the movie, you're questioning, well, who's going to get him? Because he wanders into the jewelry district of New York, and then people that were prisoners at Auschwitz start recognizing him. I kind of was like pulling for the people to band together and just like beat him to death in the middle of the street. But, you know.
The movies had been so consistent with setting things up and not paying them off that I would have felt that was of a piece if like the bad guy ends up being defeated by characters that we'd never met before. Like, sure, just leave Hoffman hanging. No revenge for him. That's not what happens though. So what are we the story? Oh, he escapes, right?
Yeah, he escapes. He outruns them because he is the marathon man. And he arms himself with his father's gun. He phones Elsa, who agrees to meet him with a car. Arriving at a country home, Babe guesses that Elsa has set him up. When Janeway and Zell's accomplices arrive, Babe holds them at gunpoint. The accomplices are killed in the gunfight, and Janeway offers to tell Babe where Zell is in exchange for his life. As Babe leaves, Elsa tries to warn him about Janeway. Janeway kills her before Dustin Hoffman actually, shows that he's come to play. Again, they go to this country home, and then Dustin Hoffman just kind of looks around. He's like, "Oh man, she gave me up, didn't she?" And then she's like, "I did, but I can help you still." And it's so awkward because it's just silence while they're just staring up the roadway, waiting for the car to come.
There's a close up where you can tell that Dustin Hoffman is slowly coming to terms with the fact that he had sex with a Nazi. He's like, I don't know. Am I still allowed to think fondly of it?
It was a different time.
Did you understand his thought process, like how he figured out that she had betrayed him?
No. Was there? I mean, he was looking around, and yeah. How did he come to that conclusion?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, I thought you knew something I didn't.
Well, so I have what I think it is, and I kind of made a joke about it earlier, is because she basically drives him to the house of his flashbacks. Throughout the movie, he keeps having these flashbacks of playing with his dad, I thought, at a country house. And then as she's driving him into this house, he looks like he recognizes the surroundings. And then they get to the house, and the way it was framed, it made me feel like, oh, maybe I am supposed to also recognize it. But then again, the way they framed that soccer ball was also supposed to have some meaning, and that didn't pay off. So, I mean, I don't know. But my best guess is that she took him to the house where he once spent time with his father. And then that's why he keeps asking, who owns the house? How do you get this house? And I guess it's implied that the house belongs to Olivier, which means that Olivier was renting the house to his dad, or had... It means, I guess what he infers is that his dad was working with a Nazi at some point, which means that he was not innocent of whatever he'd been accused back in the day that caused him to take his own life. It is extremely convoluted. It could have used, out of all the things that could have been explained in this movie, I think that's the one that needed to be explained. Not so much the backstory of Lawrence Olivier, or, what kind of food Roy Scheider likes when he goes on an expensive date. Like, could have used a little more fleshing out of the relationship between Dustin Hoffman's dad and this guy that has killed his brother and is about to kill him. And, Ebert talked about plot holes and all that stuff. And it's like, what are the odds that this Nazi, that Laurence Olivier, would have had some dude in his pocket? That dude gets exposed and takes his own life, and then both his sons end up crossing paths with that same Nazi when they're adults. Like, that is a huge stretch.
That is like that's like reindeer games levels of you have to just have faith that everything's going to work out the way your plan said it would. So
the Nazi Olivier, 20 years prior, he's like, come on, are you telling me that this guy's kids are going to grow up to blame me for his father's death and seek revenge? One of them is going to go into shadowy law enforcement and eventually play double agent with my business? I don't believe it.
it's relying on a lot of things to go right. You know?
Yeah, and it's so like we learn all this, or we're forced to try to figure out in such a short amount of time that you really, at least in my case, I couldn't really enjoy the action. Like when they finally get to the shootout here, I was so distracted trying to put the pieces together that I honestly can't tell you who got shot by who. Like, can you tell? Like, because Devane looks like he's going to shoot Hoffman, but then I think that last minute he turns and shoots one of his own people. Is that what happens?
Devane he goes to shoot Hoffman, but Hoffman hears the gun go off when he kills Elsa. So then he shoots Devane in the stomach and then in the fucking cheek.
No. But before that, so there's like Devane and his two goons.
Julio, you already referenced Reservoir Dogs, but might as well again. You know, it's like, how did Chris Penn get shot in that? You know, just squibs going off. No one really knows what's happening.
It's just movie magic. If you ask Tarantino, he's like, but did you care? And I guess that's the trick of Reservoir Dogs. You think about it later. Once the movie's over, you're like scrolling online and reading people's theories and people that have watched the movie 100 times are like, who fired that first shot or whatever. Here, you're trying to figure out still like who knows what's the big plan? Is there really somebody coming? Are these guys working with the Nazi? Because it sounds like William Devane is ready to turn on Lawrence Olivier, right?
Well, he does sell him out. He tells him where he's at.
Yeah. But so is that, but then he tries to shoot him anyway.
Yeah, because he still needs to cover up his mess. He's going to call his bosses and be like, listen, we have a problem.
This marathon man.
Because I assume he was going to kill Olivier in the end anyway.
Right. He tells him, you need to go back home by 1 p.m. tomorrow.
He calls, whoever, fucking, I don't know, the president or whatever, and just, sir, he's on the run again. You let the marathon man go?
I think you should realize that we're only authorized to go to certain limits.
Well, cut the bullshit and tell me results.
But let's not oversell, or let's not undersell Devane's own running prowess, because that big chase scene when Hoffman first escapes, I was thinking he's going to leave them in the dust because he's the marathon man. He's been training for this. This is what it's all been building up to. And they catch up to him pretty quick before they even get in the cars. Like Devane is just on foot running after him. And it's one of those things where there's a lot of shots of Dustin Hoffman running, and you think that he's getting away. And then there's a wide shot, and Willie Devane is like right behind him.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know, it feels like a bit of an undignified ending for William Devane, who was, in my opinion, a more impressive, more entertaining bad guy here.
Yeah, he was definitely cold-blooded in this.
Yeah, the way that he shoots Elsa, that was the biggest surprise for me.
I agree. It was so sudden and showed just absolutely no remorse. And it's one of those things in that moment for his character, you're like, oh, he's done this before a lot of times.
Yeah. I hope that he gets his. And then 5 seconds later, he gets his, and it was not that satisfying.
Zell canvasses the Manhattan Diamond District to gauge the value of his diamond cachet, but is recognized by 2 Holocaust survivors, one of whom Zell stabs to death. Yeah, he comes up to like, I remember you, and he fucking takes the blade out and slits this dude's throat in broad daylight in New York City. But again,
it's New York in the 70s.
Yeah. Zell retrieves his diamonds, but as he attempts to leave the bank, Babe forces him at gunpoint to a pump house in the Central Park Reservoir. He goes, it is not safe. And he just has the moment of realization, turns around. Babe tells Zell he can keep as many diamonds as he can swallow. After swallowing 1 diamond, Zell refuses to continue and attacks Babe. Imagine he's like, can I have a Fresca or something? Babe throws the rest of the diamonds towards the water. Zell dives for them, but as he stumbles down a staircase, he impales himself on his own blade, hoisted by his own petard, Julio.
So fucking dumb.
Yeah. Babe heads into Central Park, stopping to throw his gun into the reservoir. So he knew enough to do that. He probably just would have been better off keeping it and selling it.
Yeah, I mean, William Devane's buddies are going to come after him.
This is true.
Do you think that it's believable that a Nazi, my note just says, a Nazi walks into a Jewish community? Like, do you think it's believable that he would do that and not expect to be recognized? Was he not aware? I think that maybe it's just a trope of movies, storytelling in particular, that I've been trained to assume that if you were in a concentration camp, you're going to recognize a Nazi.
Yeah.
And I know that. Apparently, Lawrence Olivier didn't know that. And he just goes, gets himself in the area that would have the most Jewish people, the most likelihood of him being recognized. And he just goes in, he didn't even need to. He goes to ask for prices. Like I get that the internet was not a thing yet, but why not just go get the diamonds and then, he can figure out the price later?
Because then there wouldn't be a movie, Julio.
Oh, that's why. His glee when he retrieves the diamonds.
It is the fucking Pulp Fiction shot when he dumps the diamonds on the table and then it shows his face and it's like illuminating his face with light.
Yeah, but that smile was just weird, unsettling in a bad way.
Oh, and he does make a very weird, like, I have a boner, like, noise. He's like, ah! He says something like that.
The guy outside is like, are you okay?
Yeah. Need some help in there, brother?
When you saw him looking at the diamonds, did you think, oh, he's going to eat one of these before the movie's over?
I did not. But what a pussy, man. I could have at least eaten 5 of them.
Well, I was thinking, is it really that bad? Is it because they'll cut you as they go down?
Yeah, and he probably doesn't have anything to drink.
They're pretty tiny. I mean, it's like taking a pill.
A very expensive one that you won't digest.
It's going to come out at some point.
One way or the other, brother. So anyway, does he even run away at the end? Do we get to see him running one last time?
No, a bunch of other people run past the camera.
That's
it's
it.
just like the static shot. Yeah. The Marathon Man. That was the sequel.
The Marathon Man will return.
A whole team of runners chasing Nazis in the Marathon Man sequel. I don't know. I'm a little underwhelmed by just Dustin Hoffman as an action hero. I think that he works better as, he's the everyman. He's just kind of unassuming, and maybe he's not the alpha male. Like, I mean, this movie, obviously, the alpha male was Roy Scheider. And I think I've made this point before in other instances. Like, there's a reason why you make the movie about the alpha male. Mm-hmm. You don't make the movie about the little brother that is kind of out of his depth when bad things happen. Here, I never thought that he was a real threat to the bad guys. I always kind of rolled my eyes when things worked out in his favor. And all the way to the end. I was like, he has a dude at gunpoint and he almost fucks it up. When he has complete advantage. So, of course, Olivier was going to end up killing himself by accident. That was just the only way that this movie could end. Because Dustin Hoffman was not going to do the job.
Couldn't get the satisfaction of, Dustin Hoffman wiping him out. Or the people he wronged. And of course, putting it very lightly. Yeah, the people he wronged.
He doesn't even take a diamond, Alex.
I know. It's not about that, though. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
It's about the satisfaction of seeing a renowned Nazi fall face first into the gutter.
Why not?
Fun for all ages. Before we close, Alex, 2 things. One, I kept forgetting. Every time you mention Hoffman's name in your recap, I kept stifling a laugh and saying, oh yeah, I need to bring this up. Who the fuck names their protagonist Babe?
James Cromwell.
I think the worst one was when they're getting mugged, and I hadn't caught on the fact that his name was Babe. Mm-hmm. And so they're getting mugged, and Elsa keeps screaming, "Babe, babe!" I was like, "Is she really using a term of endearment in the middle of a mugging?" And then eventually, I was like, "Oh no, that's what they call him." I was like, "Ooh, man, just go by what's his real name? Babadook, Babington. Just go by Babington or by Thomas because this is his first name." And then the other thing, I am surprised you didn't call out that we got Hoffman ass in this movie.
He's like fully naked for a whole scene in this movie.
Yeah,
he's taking a bath, just trying to enjoy himself. And yeah, I mean, this movie is a hard R, so I wasn't worried that man ass was going to push it over the edge rating wise.
You're just glad that he didn't drop the soap when he got up from the bathtub.
Dustin Hoffman was a good looking dude. I would have looked.
All right. Well, that was Contrarians Corner. I am ready for real talk, Alex.
Let's. I'm not doing any running, Julio, but we can lightly jog over to real talk.
We can sit on a bench and watch the runners.
Yes, I will eat the charcuterie board, and you can run for my amusement.
All right, let's go.
All right.